I'm about to say something that's gonna make a lot of parents angry. You could be ruining your child's future and paying thousands of dollars to do it. All those piano lessons, coding camps, tutoring sessions, and elite sports teams, they're not just a waste of money or a waste of time. They might actually be harming your kid's development. Meanwhile, there's one thing that could transform their entire life trajectory. And by signing them up for activity after activity, you're probably preventing them from actually doing it. Today, I'm talking about and exposing the biggest lie in modern parenting and showing you what science actually says about raising successful, resilient kids. And it's through family time in nature. Hey parents, if you're here watching this, you probably want to give your kids the best possible start in life. Maybe you've been wondering if you're doing enough, or maybe too many things. Or if there's some secret formula for raising confident, creative, and resilient kids. Today I'm sharing research that could completely destroy everything you thought you knew about designing your kid's childhood. We're diving deep into some ways that you can get off the hamster wheel and out onto the path towards building healthy, resilient kids. And helping me do that is today's sponsor, White Duck Outdoors. I want to give them a quick thank you, and I'm excited to share more about them with you later in this video. Okay, but wait, before you click away and think this is just another you need to go touch some grass kind of video, let me show you some actual numbers that will make you question every dollar you ever spent on your child's activities. And let me start by just saying I'm not against sports or activities. My middle son plays soccer in the Parks and Rec department. My daughter's on the swim team, but that's about it. And you know, I was brought up loving sports, and I still do. So don't get me wrong, there's so much to learn from team sports and from activities or lessons with peers. All I'm saying is that the culture of childhood activities has gotten way out of control. It's being driven by an industry and a mentality that is damaging to our relationships with our children and their future health and well-being. And don't mistake it, this is an industry. It's an industry built on fear and guilt. So let's talk about those numbers. First of all, youth sports alone is a $70 billion a year market, with over half of that coming from the US. The average American family now spends $731 annually per child on extracurricular activities. But that's just the average. If your kid plays travel sports, we're talking $1,000 for that primary sport alone. And that's a 46% increase since 2019. Add in other activities, and a lot of families are dropping $1,500 per year per child. And you wanna know how insane it gets? For example, elite ice hockey families are spending $10,000 annually. Competitive gymnastics, anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000. Travel soccer, $5,000 easy, not including hotels, travel, and flights. Private music lessons, anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. Meanwhile, a complete family camping setup could cost as little as $500. One time. An annual state park pass, $75. Hiking boots for the whole family, a few $100s. You could outfit your entire family for years of adventures for what you spend on 1 month of activities for one child. And here's the kicker, and this is where it gets kind of uncomfortable for families who have really bought into this madness. You know, people think, oh, it's an investment and they're gonna be good enough to get a scholarship and go to college. But here's the truth, only 2% of all high school athletes get any kind of scholarship. 2%. And the average scholarship is only $11,000, which doesn't even cover half of even the smallest college tuitions. And meanwhile, only 1% actually get full rides. You could be potentially spending $150,000 over your child's youth sports career for a 2% chance at an $11,000 scholarship. That's not just a bad investment. That's a lottery ticket than worse odds than you can get in Vegas. Okay, so if you think that's shocking, wait till you hear about what's happening inside your child's brain related to these activities, because there might already be damage being done. So let me show you what's happening inside your overscheduled child's brain compared to kids who spend significant time outdoors with their families. There's a groundbreaking study that came out in 2024 from the University of Georgia. And by the way, I'm going to put links to all of those sources and stats of things that I'm referencing in this video. So if you want to read more about it yourself, you're welcome to go and find those in the description. But that study from UGA states that there's a limit to the benefits that a child can receive from these enrichment activities. It's not just on a curve that gets less and less beneficial with the more activities that you provide. The study shows that it actually can be causing harm, and that most kids are already at their limit just with the time that they spend in school alone, and that the more time that they spend in structured activities beyond that, the more likely they are to struggle with depression, anxiety, and anger. That's right, the activities that you're spending your precious hard-earned money on could literally be damaging your child's mental health. But here's the contrast. There's research that shows that shared family outdoor experiences create 4 key benefits. Number 1, unmediated family time. And this is time where your family gets to spend time focusing on each other instead of homework or, let's be honest, screen time. There's some studies that show that the average family spends just 31 minutes a day caring for each other. But families who go camping report hours of time dedicated to helping and supporting each other. And that creates true bonding. Number 2, enhanced family functioning. Outdoor family activities strengthen communication patterns and family connectedness. Specifically, there's evidence that mothers and daughters that spend time together outdoors report significantly improved communication and better relationships. Number 3, positive personal development. Parents consistently, and no, I see this from personal experience, but other parents also consistently perceive and observe increased confidence in their children during outdoor challenges. They have better fear management and an improved ability to learn from their mistakes. And number 4, to me, one of the most powerful ones is memory making and recollection. A majority of families report that making and recollecting outdoor experiences plays an integral role in family bonding that can last for decades. Meanwhile, children show the opposite pattern. And get this, the Kaiser Family Foundation reports that children between the ages of 8 and 18 get an average of 7 hours of screen time per day while spending only 4 to 7 minutes in unstructured outdoor play. Okay, so those stats are pretty crazy, right? But here's where it gets really uncomfortable for the parents that have really bought into the more is better mentality. So stay with me, because this next part is what really changes everything. Because while spending hundreds or even thousands on activities that actually could be damaging your kids, there's something that could be completely free. Instead, you could be spending far less money on nature-related outdoor experiences that could deliver results that those expensive programs can only dream of. But here's the key. It requires you to participate, but there's exponentially more value in that. There's a ton of research that shows that family-based nature activities produces significant transformative results. So here's just a few of those. 1, cognitive development. Listen to this. Children in families who regularly engage in outdoor adventures show a 20% enhanced cognitive development and 27% better science test scores. But again, here's what's critical. Those benefits are strongest when parents participate as co-adventurers, not supervisors, or even worse, outsourcing this to other people. Number 2, mental health benefits. There was a major study of almost 24,000 preschoolers that found that outdoor family time positively predicts children's physical health scores, while unsurprisingly, screen time produces negative health outcomes. And families with higher engagement in outdoor activities report significantly lower rates in childhood anxiety. And you guys, it's no surprise that we have a mental health crisis happening in the youth of our country right now. And to me, I don't think these cultural trends are coincidental. Kids are spending less time outside, more time on screens, more overscheduled than they've ever been, and they're struggling to keep up. Kids need outdoor, unstructured time with your family. Number 3, communication transformation. There's studies that show that hiking and walking together creates a communication effect that's hard to impossible to replicate indoors. That's because of the physical, unique rhythm of walking side by side together, not facing each other, but moving together in the same direction. It makes conversations feel less confrontational and more open-ended. And I made a whole other video about this called the dad bod effect, which I'll link in the description, but your own enthusiasm for outdoor adventures can directly determine your child's lifelong enthusiasm and relationship with nature and physical activity outside. And number 4, trust and relationship building. Families facing outdoor challenges together, things like setting up camp together or navigating trails or weathering a storm together. It provides lessons in resilience, problem solving, and trust that structured enrichment activities just can't reproduce. I mean, you know this from your own experience, right? Those moments that are unexpected, unplanned, things that go wrong, when you have to struggle through some kind of adversity, those are the memories that stick in your mind, how you overcame it, how you worked together to solve the problem, and how you came out better for it. And there's some studies where they were tracking children into adulthood and found that the frequency of family-based nature activities during childhood directly correlates higher levels of outdoor activities in adulthood, a stronger preference for outdoor environments versus indoor. I'll take the patio table, please. Better stress management capabilities, better environmental stewardship behaviors. Okay, so you might be thinking, that's great, but how do I compete with all the other parents without looking like I'm neglecting my kid? Don't worry, let's talk through that. Partially, this is why this whole scam works so well. And it's not just built on parental guilt. It's designed to separate families during these crucial bonding years. And you've got to keep that in mind because, I mean, think about it. Every structured activity removes your child from family time. Piano lessons, you're dropping them off. Travel sports, you're a spectator, not a participant. Extra tutoring, unless it's advanced calculus, you're probably paying someone else to do something that you could be doing with them. The global private tutoring market is worth $120 billion. Like I said, the youth sports industry extracts $70 billion annually from families. But here's what they don't tell you. Those activities are creating an environment where your child is going to have a dependency on external validation and instruction, external to your family. And to corroborate that, Australian research shows that 55% of preschoolers don't play outside every day. 80% of parents feel and believe that their children need to be spending more time outside. So it's like we know it in the back of our minds, right? We're caught up in the rat race and the whole hustle culture, and it becomes hard to say no and hard to say yes to the things that you know that your family and your kids need. But you get to decide. You get to design your children's childhood. And as my wife likes to say, time is a pie. Every hour you have them scheduled in something else, it's something that takes away time that you could be spending with them, bonding, creating memories, doing something outside. So while a lot of outdoor activities can be completely free, I'd like to suggest that canceling an activity or two and using that budget to put money into an investment in your family's future is going to be so much more worth it and valuable. And so I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, White Duck Outdoors. And I want to take a minute just to show you what they're all about. Right here is my White Duck Outdoors Avalon 16 bell tent. Guys, I'm super excited about this thing. I just set it up in the backyard to check it out and make sure everything's good to go. And this thing is a beast. Come inside and check it out, guys. In here, it feels super spacious, super roomy. I can't even touch the top. It's got all these windows all the way around the outside for good ventilation. This thing is amazing. I can't wait to take it out. When you're planning to go out camping, especially with kids, it's important, especially early on, that they feel comfortable and that they have a good time. And if you've ever spent a night outdoors in one of those discount pop-up tents, they're fine until the weather gets really not fine. It can be miserable and uncomfortable, to say the least. Y'all, let me tell you, this thing is rugged and built to last, built to weather the storm. I can already tell. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I threw the kids in here yesterday, sprayed it down with the hose, and not a drop inside. What I love most about these is these are tents for families or groups that want to make camping a tradition. I mean, you can pile in the kids in here, you can set up cots, you can even run a wood stove in the winter months. It's camping, but with a strong touch of comfort that's gonna keep everybody wanting to come back for more. Hit the link in the description to check out their full lineup. And there's a Dad Camps discount code in there for you to use as well. Thanks to White Duck Outdoors for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. Looking forward to many more adventures with this thing, and I can't wait to share it with you. Okay, so how do we actually make this transition? I've got some research-based ideas and some strategies that you can use to break free of the expensive activity trap. You've probably heard some people say like 60 minutes a day outdoor time is what you need. And that could be a big leap if that's not something that you're doing. If you're in the 4 to 7 minute zone right now, but start to make steps towards that. So I would say try to do 60 minutes a day, 3 times a week. I mean, heck, do it 1 time a week if that's all you can manage, but 3 times a week is going to start to show significant results. I'm talking about you participating in an experience or an adventure together. This could be just an evening walk as a family. Even in your neighborhood, going on a nature walk, even better. But this creates that walking side-by-side conversation that can create better open communication between children and parents. If a 60-minute window is too long, try some Microadventures. I have another video about that, about Microadventures. 15 minutes after dinner. Plan it. Say, okay, no matter what's happening, if it's raining, snowing, we're gonna go outside for 15 minutes after dinner and do something fun together. Like I said, even if it's just walking the dog around the neighborhood or throwing a ball in the baseball field down the street. And doing those consistently will compound and add up. It'll become a habit. It'll become something that your family will desire and become a part of your culture. And then ultimately, find some opportunities to do some camping trips. Instead of booking a hotel for that weekend trip you have to make to go see family, find somewhere you can camp nearby. And here's a little secret. Even backyard camping counts. If it's too much and too overwhelming for you to pack up everything you need for the weekend in the woods, just pitch a tent in the backyard and sleep outside with the kids under the stars. And then if something goes wrong or you want to go have dinner, you can just go inside. Then you can always bail if you need to, but the kids are going to be excited about it. I know it never sounds fun to a parent to go and sleep on the ground in the backyard, but to a kid, it's a huge adventure, and you still get that same effect of bonding and going through an outdoor experience together, and that time spent together will make it well worth it. Okay, and another strategy is the replacement strategy. Okay, so pick something that you could cancel tutoring, then work on math or science or reading through nature exploration and journaling. For example, I taught my daughter fractions by trying to teach her how much further a half mile is because she wanted to know how much further it was when we're hiking. If you cancel a travel sport, instead spend that time hiking or biking or swimming with your kids or together as a family. And we're doing this too. So just to show you that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. For example, last year we did Cub Scouts with my middle son. And I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid. I'm still a fan of it. I still believe in it. But for us, it just didn't make sense, at least not right now. It was another thing that we were adding onto our already hectic schedule. And so this year we decided we're pushing pause there. And instead we're replacing it with dad-son adventures. Instead of spending time shuffling between meetings, looking at a PowerPoint about being outside, we're hitting the trail together, doing real adventures and doing real training together out in nature. And you can do this too. It doesn't have to be some grand epic adventure, but you can start to build real life skills together. For younger ages, like 3 through 6, you can do things like nature scavenger hunts. You could set this up in the backyard or a neighborhood park. You could learn to garden together in your backyard, or even start to get them experienced with camping. Get to be a little older, ages 7 to 12, they could start learning things like navigation with maps and compass. You could have them help with outdoor cooking over a fire, do things like wildlife identification and studying animal tracks or sign. When they get to be teens, you can get them involved in doing backpacking trips and planning for those trips. Give them actual leadership roles in trips like that. Or maybe they get excited about landscape photography or something like that. I mean, look, if you think about designing your kid's childhood, you're designing memories, right? And I can guarantee you that your child is going to remember catching that trout in the backcountry stream or conquering that summit way more clearly than that Saturday T-ball game where they lost 11-1. And that memory is going to instill confidence in their own capabilities through the rest of their life. If you want a few more ideas or inspiration around this, I have a few great book recommendations for you that I'll link in the description. The first one is Outdoor Kids in an Inside World by Steve Rinella from Meat Eater. It's all about getting your kids out of the house and into and engaged with nature. Another one is How to Raise a Wild Child by Scott Sampson. If you've ever heard of him, this is Dr. Scott from the PBS show Dinosaur Train. He's a real life paleontologist who is passionate about connecting kids to nature. And last one of my favorites, Boys Should Be Boys by Dr. Meg Meeker. And this is all about valuing the high-spirited nature of boys, what's special about that, and why the outdoors is the best environment to foster it. All right, so look, I get it. You're like, easy for you to say, Adam. You're like Mr. Outdoorsy. What if I don't know what I'm doing? I'm sure there's a ton of objections to this, but I have a few that I think I can help you overcome. Like I said, if you don't have the outdoor skills yourself, that's okay, because actually research shows that families that learn outdoor skills together actually form stronger bonds with each other compared to those where parents are already experts. Your children want to see you learning and growing, not just instructing them. Okay, Adam, but you live in the Pacific Northwest and it's beautiful and you get to go play in the mountains all the time. We live in a big city, so we can't do this. Actually, not true. Urban families do have some advantages here. Probably close by your house, there are city parks or urban hiking trails, biking trails, community gardens, or even rooftop nature spaces. houses. Those are some of those things that I don't have anywhere near my house. The point is, don't let that be an excuse, because like one of the things that Stephen Ranella says is that kids' love and fascination of nature doesn't start with summiting a mountain or going on a backcountry elk hunt. It starts with kicking over a rock and holding a worm. And that you can do pretty much anywhere. Oh, but what about weather? Adam, it rains all the time where I live here. Well, to that, I say there's a Scandinavian proverb that says, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing, I think. Paraphrasing. There's actually a book called No Such Thing as Bad Weather. Recommend that as well. But in fact, families that embrace all weather outdoor time actually report stronger resilience and adaptability, which makes sense, right? Next excuse, I mean, I would love to do that, but my spouse just isn't on board. Okay, I get it. That can be challenging, but just start small. There's research that shows that once family members experience the stress reduction and bonding experience and benefits of outdoor time, that resistance typically fades within 2 to 3 outdoor experiences. And I know I see this in my kids too. There's sometimes when they put up resistance if they haven't been outside in a little while. But then if we go camping, if we go hiking, they just rave about how happy they were and how much of a great experience it was. And I can just see that they know it in their bodies, that it made them feel better. Okay, Adam, but we are not outdoorsy people. How are we supposed to do this? That's actually perfect, because there's studies that families that start adventuring from zero experience can actually develop some of the strongest outdoor habits, because every experience feels like an adventure and you get a sense of achievement. And here's the cool thing about all this is that it has a generational effect. The studies consistently show that nature-loving kids become nature-loving parents and creates multi-generational patterns of outdoor family engagement. And like I said, I mean, think about it yourself. Reflect on some of your most meaningful childhood memories. Feel free to pause the video and think about it for a minute. I'd be willing to bet that at least some of the memories that came to mind are outdoor family experiences. It's not the piano recitals, it's not the travel tournament, and that's what's so cool about this is you're not just designing your children's childhood, you're creating a foundation for how they will raise their own children. Okay, so here's my challenge to you. Start this week with adding 60 minutes of outdoor time. Wherever you're at on the amount of time that you do spend together outside as a family, add 60 minutes. Can you do that? It could feel like a challenge, but that's the point. And you may have to cut something out to do it. And again, I'm not talking about structured time where you go and drop them off for an activity. I'm talking about time where you go together to explore, to discover, and grow together as a family. Next, together decide one activity that you can either pause for a month or cancel altogether, and use that time and that money toward doing a family camping trip or a family adventure instead. And then sit back and just watch your children's behavior, watch your own stress levels, and then come back and tell me that all of those things don't improve. I guarantee you'll be amazed at what will happen when you stop paying other people to raise your kids and you start adventuring together instead. If this video opened your eyes to how this enrichment industry has been pulling apart and stressing out families, emptying your wallet, please give it a thumbs up so that this can be seen by more people. Most of all, remember this, here's the truth. The strongest families are not built in expensive programs with strangers. They're built outside together, facing challenges as a team, creating memories out in the open where both parents and children can grow alongside each other. You've got some great family adventures waiting. The outdoors is waiting. Start investing in togetherness as a family.